Hi there, this is Ranjit, and in this video we'll be doing the review for the iPhone XS Max and the XS. And to be frank guys, I use the XS Max a lot more than the regular XS. In fact, I used this for almost about 3 weeks, and this one I used for about 4 or 5 days. I actually wanted to post two different videos, but doesn't make sense because I frankly feel both are very similar devices. But yes, there are some differences, and like my usual reviews, I'll divide it between the pros and the cons so that you can make an informed decision. But first, let's quickly just talk about the major differences between these two devices. Internally, it's the same, both have the same processor. But yeah, obviously, as you can see, there's a huge size difference. And this one is having the 5.8-inch screen that we have seen on the iPhone X last year, whereas this one is having the new screen as screen that is 6.5-inch screen. And this, you could say, is like the plus-sized iPhone. And I thought this one will be really big initially when I got it. But to be very frank guys, within 2 days, I got used to this one, and when I migrated to this one, the regular iPhone XS felt very tiny. So it's very difficult once you get used to the bigger size to come back to this one. In fact, now I'm actually testing the iPhone XR, and for some reason I feel this is the perfect size between the two. Anyways, so yeah, this one has slightly lower battery life because of the capacity. This one obviously has bigger, and also in terms of usability, this one is still a single-handed device. You can use it with a single hand, but this one is definitely, the Max is a two-handed device guys. And lastly, again, coming to the pricing, obviously in India these are priced very highly, and I would say they go by the name iPhone XS Max, XS if you call it. The pricing is XS and XS Max. Anyways, for fun stuff, let's now get in the review, and let's divide it between the pros and cons. Let's first talk about the pros. And again, what I liked about is the screen quality. These are having OLED screens, and again, the screen quality is really good. What Apple has put, no issues regarding that one. And now it's also Dolby Vision and HDR compliant. Yeah, for both the small as well as the big one. Now moving to even the build quality, the build quality is really good on both. It has that stainless steel frame, and it's again a very premium build quality. But again, due to that stainless steel frame, both the phones have actually heft to it. And one thing I found it very surprising is that though technically on paper the smaller one weighs a lot less, but when you use it, I feel this the XS actually feels a little bit more dense to hold. Hence, psychologically, it feels a little bit more heavier compared to the bigger one, that is the Max. So that is something that was very surprising. This feels a lot more comfortable to use, though it's having more weight. Maybe it's just larger, that's why it feels like that. But this feels a lot more dense. Now moving to another thing that I like is that even the iPhone X had that dual speakers, but now Apple has improved it further on these phones. And I have to say, the speakers are really better on this one, and you get even more immersive stereo experience. So good job there. And now moving to the battery life, as I've told you, definitely this will last you for about easily for a full day, even with heavy use. And for most users, it will last you for about 1.5 days, and the smaller one will get you about 1 day of battery life. In fact, very similar to the iPhone X. Now again, it's a very fluid device, and that's thanks to the Apple's new A12 Bionic chip. And I feel again, it's the fastest mobile chip in the world as of now, beating even Qualcomm and other chips. So it's a very fast chip, no lag whatsoever that you notice in the phone. It's very fluid. Again, even with the iPhone X with the iOS 12 update, it's been very fluid. So again, here also same experience, you won't notice any lag whatsoever in these devices. Again, moving to cellular call quality, I tested this one with Airtel, and I also went internationally, and cellular call quality was good, no issues with that. And now iPhones also have technically dual SIM. One is your regular nano SIM, but you can also opt for eSIM to get that second SIM functionality. Again, these phones now also have water resistant like the earlier. These have IP68 and also have slightly improved Face ID. I would say it's slight improved. For example, if I just swipe like this, it just goes. With the original iPhone 10, there was sometimes a half a second delay, which is actually not there on this. You swipe it and it's ready, as you can see. So Face ID, Apple says the second generation. Yes, it's slightly improved. And now sometimes that half a second delay that I used to get is not there. But yeah, and sometimes it simply doesn't recognize and you have to add the passwords. That's the same case. But again, Face ID has been improved slightly if we compare it with the earlier generation of the iPhone. Both for this is the same one, even on this one. Now moving to another thing is that I really like the speaker phones, and I also forgot to mention, I also took a lot of calls via the speaker phone, and even while taking calls with the speaker phone, it was very loud and clear. In fact, the speakers are so good that you don't need those small portable Bluetooth speakers. That's how I would rate the speakers on this one. Now moving to another thing is, and this is the biggest improvement I have seen apart from the size, obviously the bigger size, is the camera. Again, good thing is both of them have the same camera setup. So either one, if you go with the bigger one or the regular XS, it's the same. And Apple has really improved the camera performance on this, especially in artificial and indoor lighting conditions. If we compare it with the earlier generation of the iPhone 10, this is the biggest improvement that I have noticed. Camera has been improved, and now they employ smart HDR. For example, Pixel phones used to do that, and because of that, the dynamic range and other stuff is actually really good, as you can see with the sample shots. So in terms of camera performance, I feel there is definitely a huge improvement that Apple has done this year. And now moving to the front facing camera. The front facing camera is still a 7 megapixel shooter. And I don't see, yes, there is slight improvement if we compare it even with the prior generations of iPhone. But again, I would say front-facing camera, I feel Android phones still are doing a better job. And now there is another thing, the portrait mode has improved both with the rear-facing as well as the front-facing camera. And I feel the portrait mode with the front-facing camera is doing a better job. But again, it also has that skin smoothing effect a little bit. Some people would like it or not. Some people call it like beauty option that we see in a lot of Android phones. And Apple has actually acknowledged that. And hopefully with the next software update, they will solve it. So again, yes, camera is the biggest improvement that I have seen on this one compared to earlier generations of smartphone. But again, I've also used the Pixel 3 XL. And if I have to pick just based on the camera, I still feel the rear-facing camera of the Pixel is slightly better, particularly in static photographs. Now, if we come to talk about video, again, video was very good even in earlier generations of the iPhone, and that's the same even with this one. And I feel in terms of audio pickup, when you are shooting the video, I feel still the iPhones are doing an incredible job. Recording the sample video with the front-facing camera of the iPhone XS Max, and as you can see, guys, this is in artificial lighting conditions in my office. And also do pay attention to the audio quality, because I feel in terms of audio quality, iPhones are actually doing a much better job. Anyways, this is a quick sample with the front-facing camera of this iPhone XS Max. So guys, these were the things that I liked about the iPhone XS and the XS Max. Now let's move to the cons. Again, I have a huge list. Let's go over them. And the first thing I still don't like on both of these iPhones is the auto brightness sensor. I never liked the auto brightness sensor on earlier generations of the iPhone, and that's the same case even with these one. And most of the time I have to actually go over here and manually adjust the brightness. I don't know, the auto brightness sensor is simply not that sensitive on these phones. And in fact, it's the same case even with the iPhone XR. So I don't know why, but yeah, it's the same case. So auto brightness sensor is there technically, but again, I don't feel it does a very good job. And many times I have to manually adjust the brightness, especially at night when I'm reading stuff and other things. Also, still these iPhones have a very good OLED screen, but still they do not have always on display like many other Android phones. So again, you have to tap in or do that to get to know your notification, because again, it's an iPhone, you don't have physical LED notification. That now moving to another thing is that Apple says that these new iPhones have the strongest glass. Yeah, they might have it, and I have seen a lot of videos, drop tests. It's more better than earlier generations of iPhone. But in terms of scratch resistant, I feel these are not good. And in fact, after 2 weeks, as I told you, I was using this Max a lot more. This one got some nasty scratches around the top portion of the screen, which was very surprising because I had to use the iPhone 10 also last year, similar usage, and I didn't get those nasty scratches. So definitely this is prone to more scratches compared to earlier generations of the iPhone, and you have to be careful. And now I have actually put a screen guard on this. I generally don't like putting screen guards, but I have now put a screen guard because I feel you can easily get scratches on the new iPhones. Now, another thing is that these iPhones are really expensive, and I don't like the fact that still the base variant starts at 64 gigabytes. Considering the price point, the minimum storage should have been 128 gigabytes, but sadly, it starts with 64, 256, and it goes all the way up to 512. Again, it's an iPhone, and they started this notch stuff, and still we have that notch. And yeah, you technically get used to it, but again, one thing that I've noticed is that, and I still don't like this, when you're watching, let's say, YouTube videos and other stuff, and let's just say I open any of my own videos, it's fine like this. Let me skip this audio.
Order online on Zomato.
Audio, as I was telling, was really good. Let's play my own video. And when you maximize it, as you can see, the notch actually, let me pause that, the notch actually cuts a little bit of the display, and I don't like that. It's because after using a lot of Android phones with smaller notches, definitely in the full screen mode, I do feel it does cut quite a bit. So again, hopefully we are not going to get rid of the notch. Hopefully in the next generation, Apple tries to minimize the notch. Now, another thing I really don't like, and I'm really unhappy, and I expressed that when I unboxed this one. Obviously, iPhones don't have the 3.5 headphone jack, but Apple was always bundling an adapter, Lightning to 3.5mm headphone jack adapter. But with these new iPhones, that is also not there. You have to buy them separately. And I still don't like the fact that iPhones come with a very tiny 5-watt charger. Though these ones actually have fast charging. Example, if you have a, fast charger, you can charge it really quickly. But again, for that, you have to buy a separate cable and a different charger, because the supplied charger is embarrassingly low, a 5-watt charger. In fact, I'm charging these iPhones with a standard 5 volt 2 amp chargers that we get with even normal budget oriented Android devices, and that definitely charges way quicker than the supplied charger what Apple has done. In fact, it's funny, I have this wireless charger, and this wireless charger is sort of a fast charger, and my iPhone charges more quickly if I charge it wirelessly compared to the supplied charger what they have given in the box. So no excuses that they are giving that tiny dinky 5-watt charger with such an expensive phone. Also, as I've mentioned, outdoor, the screen quality is really nice on these phones. They can get really bright, but I use this phone a lot, and I was roaming around and stuff. And in outdoor sunlight, at direct sunlight, even at max brightness, I would say it's legible. It's not like it's not legible, but again, I had to tilt the screen sometimes to view it effectively. And I won't blame Apple for this. I even faced the same issue even with the Pixel 3 XL. So I still feel IPS panels in this aspect, if you use it outdoors a lot, they are slightly more easy and visible in direct sunlight compared to this one. Not a big con, but yeah, if you use the phone a lot in direct sunlight outdoors, that is something you have to note. And I would say if you already have a last generation iPhone 10, you strictly don't need to update to these new phones unless you are looking for a larger size iPhone. And yes, if you are not happy with the camera of the original iPhone 10, because yes, definitely in terms of camera, I see a huge improvement from the iPhone 10 to the iPhone 10s and the 10s Max. And lastly, coming to the pricing in India, the pricing is insane in India. It's too high in my frank opinion, but yeah, that's what it is. So anyways, guys, this was the review of the iPhone 10s and the 10s Max. If you still have any questions regarding these smartphones, do let me know in the comment section below, and I'll be more than happy to answer them. So guys, that's it for now for the video. And yes, I'm in the middle of my testing of this iPhone 10R. So we'll be posting a video, and frankly speaking, I would say the iPhone 10R is more practical phone, because in terms of battery life, definitely it is getting me more battery life compared to this one and even the Max in my frank opinion. But yeah, it loses out on that telephoto lens. So anyways guys, that's it for now for this video, and if you guys are still not subscribed to my YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button. Thanks for watching. This is Ranjit and I hope to see you in my next video. Take care guys.